Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Economists say there can be no economic policy without a proper pandemic policy in Trinidad and Tobago. This story takes the lead in our 1120th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 26th May 2021. Details after this break.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Economy commentators Mariano Brown and Dr. Roger Hossain say they do not expect any groundbreaking announcements in the mid-year budget review carded for June. However, they're both hoping to hear more defined policies on the plan to treat with the pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago. Renessa Cutting of TV6 News reports.
Economists are calling for clear targets and timelines for government's pandemic plan.
That's what you have to do. You have to say that you're going to vaccinate X million people, 1 million people, within 90 days. Now, that's an objective real, and that's what is going to make the press conference make sense to you. And thereafter, you will then hold the government to task. How many have you vaccinated? But quite frankly, the testing is poor. Up to today's date, we're talking about we've tested less than 150,000 people. Really? That's 10% of the population.
Dr. Roger Hossain believes as much as lives must be preserved, the cyclic opening and closing of the economy does more harm than good.
It leads to something called economic scarring. And economic scarring takes time to heal and to improve and to bring back to normality. It affects business confidence. It affects consumer confidence. And only a well-defined, well-orchestrated vaccination program would reduce the need for these type of lockdowns, say in October again.
He notes that the IMF had projected what he says is a very optimistic 2.1% economic growth rate for TNT in 2021, but points out that with the extended lockdown, such a forecast is even more unrealistic.
If you have 20,000 workers that are not contributing towards economic activity, that will significantly affect GDP growth for that quarter. And so we need to get these workers vaccinated and back on the job to bring economic activity back to where it was. Now, back to where it was is 7.8% lower than in 2019. Just remember that.
Both believe government needs to revisit its forex policy, but they are not calling for outright devaluation.
What I would like to see happen is to allow the floating exchange rate mechanism work. And there are mechanisms to do that. Any business at today's date that is not pricing their cost of sales, their goods, right, and an exchange rate which is above 750 isn't in business. That's the reality. So telling me that you have an official exchange rate of $6.80, right, doesn't translate that that's the price that they're going to use. The pricing that they're using at the moment is 750 plus, whether the state likes it or not.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
More young people between the ages of 18 and 39 are testing positive for COVID-19 in Guyana. Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana explains.
The majority of the more than 1,800 active COVID-19 cases in Guyana are youths between the ages of 18 and 39. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony today revealed that while more youths are becoming infected, they are the most hesitant to get the COVID-19 vaccines and are therefore lagging behind other age groups when the vaccination numbers are examined. The health minister said he believes that more youths are becoming infected because they are the ones who are out and about the most.
For most of this age group, they might have milder form of the disease. Although we have been seeing a few cases where some younger people are getting infected coming into the hospital, and we've had a few deaths in the age range between 30 to 40. We've had a few deaths. And therefore, we want people to also understand that they need to come out and get their vaccines as well. And we want to urge them to make use of the opportunity, because vaccines are available throughout the country if they can come out and get their vaccines so that they can protect themselves.
Based on the Ministry of Health data, more than 65% of persons above the age of 60 in Guyana have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. When it comes to those between the ages of 18 and 39, less than 30% of that population has received a first shot of the vaccine. The health minister said more youths need to get vaccinated to protect themselves and their loved ones.
So I think that people like the idea of being able to drive up. It's very comfortable. You're in the comfort of your own vehicle. And the staff was very proactive in making sure that people felt comfortable. They got the information, then they moved to the next station, and they got their vaccines, and they waited for the 15 minutes. We also were able to accommodate those who wanted to walk in. Mm-hmm. And I think that went well as can be. And so I think from the analysis that was done by the technical staff of the ministry, they felt that this is a very good way of getting people to come out and get their vaccines.
Over the weekend, the Ministry of Health hosted a COVID-19 drive-through vaccination drive. More than 1,000 persons received vaccines. The ministry will host another drive-through campaign at the stadium on Independence Day. That's on Wednesday. Meanwhile, 2 more deaths from the virus have been recorded in the past 24 hours. Since the start of May, a total of 62 persons have lost their lives to COVID-19.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Although Guyana's COVID-19 cases have been surging in the last 2 months, Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo said the government is not considering any lockdown at this time. Gordon Mosley again has that report.
Guyana currently has recorded more than 2,000 new cases of the virus in the past 2 weeks alone, and the death toll has been rising steadily. During a press conference this afternoon, the Vice President dismissed the idea of a lockdown and used Trinidad and Tobago as an example where a lockdown did not stem the spread of the virus.
We also, as I pointed out, had to have this nuanced approach. Unlike some countries that are totally shut down. Look at Trinidad and Tobago. Look at the numbers there. And that country has been almost in a perpetual state of lockdown for the past year. And it did not help really. They now have numbers 20-something dying in a single day, etc.
Vice President Jagdeo said the government must keep economic activity going and keep people working. He said it is important right now for citizens to get vaccinated and keep following the COVID-19 guidelines.
So we have to keep people working to at least economic activities going, and at the same time try to urge our people, all of our people, every single one of them, to try to come in, take the vaccine, be responsible. If we all vaccinated, then we can open up our country. We don't have to wear masks in the future.
And asked whether there will be another round of COVID-19 cash relief for citizens, the Vice President said that may not be possible, since the first round posed some logistical and other challenges.
I'm not aware that there is any such consideration. We are definitely looking at how to assist people. The big issue is administration. You know, it took us a long time to go to each home to get the money, the grant given to people. And we had a lot of difficulties too. And I have no doubt that in the country, because there was every family in Guyana we had to go to, that in some cases, people may not have gotten the money and they did not get a chance to fill up the pink form because some of them might not have been home.
Vice President Jack Dio said the government is looking to provide additional help to the more vulnerable groups, but not to every citizen. The Ministry of Health has announced that its vaccination sites will be opened into the early evening hours in the coming days. And this Saturday at the National Stadium Providence, the Ministry of Health will host a vaccination drive-through, where persons can drive through and get vaccinated.
UNICEF urges the Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, not to proceed with this year's CSEC ordinary and advanced level exams in their current form and calls on ministers of education to urgently intervene and request that CXC adjust the exams. More in this Barbados Today online news item.
In a statement, UNICEF representatives for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Belize, Jamaica and Guyana and Suriname recommended that the regional examining body make adjustments to the content and administration of the exams to ensure students are not disadvantaged. They contended that these are unprecedented times which called for innovative approaches to stem the effects of COVID-19 on generations to come. Still no date yet for the common entrance examinations, but Education Minister Santia Bradshaw said that announcement could come within the next 2 weeks. The minister gave the assurance over the weekend and promised that anxious students and parents will not have to wait much longer to know when the exams will take place.
Don't worry about the 11 plus, because I know many people worry about the 11 plus. I told the country we were going to do the assessments on the children. The assessments are underway, and I give the assurance that within the next 2 weeks or sooner, we will have a position as far as the 11 plus date is concerned. That is our commitment to you.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.